process of starting your own business? Ever thought about it but just haven't started? Whether you are a seasoned professional or just kicking off your dream of becoming an independent business owner, you are invited to join us for this incredible journey. Discover and become a part of this diverse group of women who aim to support, inspire, uplift, and encourage like-minded women just like you within our Ladypreneur 100 community. We're going to remove for you the mystique of entrepreneurship, show you how to increase your leads, effectively market your business, and teach you how to build a powerful strategic alliance. You can find us on Facebook by going to the IB Network or by visiting us at our website, www.successradio.us. You can also find our show on TuneIn Radio by searching for the Ladypreneur 100 Show. That's Ladypreneur 100. Be sure to follow us there.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Ladypreneur Kym Welton, and I'm excited to have you with us. Here on our show, we bring in guests who share their stories that will empower, uplift, and inspire all of our listeners. We are encouraged by the outpouring of support we receive on this show, and as we continue to grow, we will touch on more topics that you want to hear. Today's show is a little different from our regular shows. I want to let our listeners know that this may not be the show for listeners 10 and under. We're going to touch on some adult issues as we speak with today's guests. But I want you to listen live, and you can go to successradio.us, but you can also watch our show on Facebook Live, and you can see and interact with us. Let us know that you're here. We'll read your questions as we're live on the air. As the holidays are upon us, it can be difficult to have a holly jolly time when you're recovering from an addiction. With so many celebrating the joy of the season, many are facing depression and or addiction. Today's guest is an incredible example of what it takes to get on that road to recovery. He's going to be sharing his journey and how he's committed now to helping others. We have with us this morning an amazing, wonderful, incredible friend of mine, Juan Lino.Hear guru extraordinaire. He just happens to do my hair, of course.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself, where you're from, and of course, why this is so important for you to talk about with us.
Good morning, Kym.
Good morning.
So I'm from Austin, Texas, and I spent about 20 years of my life, all of my 20s, well into my 30s, active in addiction. And, it's important to me at this point because, I'm trying to help other people find, a solution to the problem. For me, it wasn't so simple. I spent a lot of time, alone, a lot of time isolating, a lot of time, out there trying to survive. The main thing for us right now is finding a solution. What is the solution? And I guess that's what we're here to talk about.
Right. So with you are from Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell us about that journey. Where did you live? What areas did you live in with your family?
Well, I was all over the place. My father was military.
Okay.
So, I was actually born in North Carolina. We were in Kentucky, and then we came back to Texas. Most of my family is in South Texas. So, a lot of the uprooting and getting up, having to make new friends, the whole school thing.
Right.
I'm one of two children. I have an older brother. So I spent a lot of time, by myself. My brother would take care of us, when we were younger. So, all of these things, play a role. My parents were doing the best that they could.
Right.
They were financially supporting us. They provided for us. So it really wasn't the problem. What the real problem is, I think, they talk about the spiritual malady of addiction. The core of the spiritual malady of addiction is loneliness. A lot of us, if you're anything like me, you struggle with trying to fit in. You struggle with being different. That you feel. That there's everybody else has a place,
Right.
And you want to fit in. You want to be a part of something, outside of, being, feeling that way. There's other factors involved, trying to find out who you are, being a gay man. All of those things kind of like put you in a place where you feel that you're isolated. And so what better way to make yourself feel better than to start consuming substances to make yourself feel better, which is what happens with the spiritual malady of addiction, is that people with this addiction, with alcoholism, and they consume substances to make themselves feel better.
So we hear, so I have I was in the Army, of course, and
Sure.
I had a lot of friends, and they would move all over the country, or to other, to Europe or what have you. They moved a lot.
Yeah.
And I've actually had people say, man, when I was a kid, I moved every single year when I was in school. And that's tough.
It is
to
tough.
move around a lot, and then to try to have some social normalcy, making friends, and then knowing that you're not going to know them for very long. And you were talking about, you want to feel like you fit in, and you want, you want friendship, but there's a sense of isolation.
For sure. And I think the thing is you're so young that you don't realize that this is going to happen again. You don't realize that, these relationships that you're building, whatever they are, you're 5 years old, 3 years old. You don't realize that you think everything's forever
Right.
at that point. You want everything to be forever. You don't have an idea about that, of what's going on. It's not your job to know that, in 2 years we've got to relocate again. Family's taking care of all of that.
Right.
So, and it's not something for it's not a child's responsibility to figure those things out. So when that does happen, I feel that, you don't understand what's happening. You're just being uprooted, and now you're thrown into another environment, and you're supposed to make things work, and you do the best that you can. And like I said, I'm not saying it was that experience or that situation that caused it. There's a million different variables, that kind of, create this situation for people. The hard part, the easy part is knowing, that there is a solution. The solution is a spiritual solution.
Right.
The lack of the spirituality or religion, if you will, is what causes the spiritual malady. So, and that's whatever it means to anybody else, So that's where we're at with that.
So I know you're really close to your mom.
I love my mom.
Can we give her a shout out?
Dolly, if you're listening. Dolly, we love you. You got to meet her this weekend.
I loved her.
I love her
Yes.
too. Yeah.
I felt like I've known her my whole entire life.
I know that is the one person in my life that is remained consistent, that is been a beacon of support and light and strength, and like I couldn't have done any of this without her. And even in the depths of my addiction, she was there.
And did you, in recovery now, do you have open conversations of what life was like back then?
I do. Of course, I don't want to bore you with all those details, those ridiculous details of what I was doing. However, I do have conversations about that. A lot of people don't understand. I mean, it's almost. It's a blessing in disguise to have experienced and seen some of the things that I've seen, because it was dark, dark. Girl, when I say dark, it was dark. It was very, very dark. Not everyone has the opportunity to dive deep into that darkness, and also survive.
Right. Right. And what was so important for us, as we talked about this show, the timing was critical. The holiday season is upon us. There's a lot of drinking at parties.
Yep.
How do people face that?
Work parties, family functions,
absolutely.
Other alcoholics surrounding you, your family members, they can be alcoholics too.
Totally.
Yeah.
What do you look for? How do you keep somebody safe? And there's a sensitivity level there that people need to understand.
For sure.
Do you be hypersensitive? Or are you just respectful? Like, how do you make sure that everybody is in a comfortable place when you have these types of parties? Again, I know that Christmas is one of the happiest times of year, but it's also one of the most depressing.
Oh, yeah.
And suicide goes up, unfortunately.
Man.
And that's why we really wanted to put this topic on the books during the holidays. I think it's very important. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsors and a very quick commercial, and then we will be right back with Juan Lino.
Success Radio USA is always looking for ways to help you succeed. Whether it's offering a word of encouragement or sharing practical information that can give you the competitive edge. So you'll want to pay close attention to this. Our new sponsor, the 365 Grand Club, can give you the edge when conducting business in downtown Colorado Springs. You might want to entertain a potential client or just show appreciation to a loyal business partner. Either way, your new 365 Grand Club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. Your club card gives you access to discounts, business perks, making new business connections, and the convenient private concierge service that makes getting around town hassle-free. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Get yours this week and join the club, the 365 Grand Club. Listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is committed to helping you achieve a positive daily approach to your success each and every day. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
Welcome back to Ladypreneur 100, where we keep it real. Today's guest, Juan Lino, is sharing with us about addiction and how someone recovering can be faced with challenges, especially over the holidays. And I want, we in our last segment, we kind of led right into that and what that looks like. And, for some of our listeners who may be struggling with substance abuse or some type of addiction, what are some things for them to think about, especially here over the holidays? How do they protect themselves while being invited to parties or, there's a lot of work stuff, as you mentioned, going on. What are some things that you would say to them?
Well, first, anybody seeking help, there's a ton of resources available in most communities. Colorado Springs has several resources available. There's two real options for you. I believe the first option is you can, try to get a handle of this situation on your own and hit a 12-step meeting. There's tons of 12-step meetings. You've got AA, CA, HA, CODA, Overeaters Anonymous. The interesting thing about the spiritual malady that we spoke about before is, with alcoholics and addicts, it's expressed through the consumption of substances or things of that nature. Other people are expressing it through overeating, through sugar, whatever, sex, whatever it may be. So that expression. So you got to find the right group or the right people. Now you can either take yourself to 12-step meetings, and there's a phrase that we use, 90 and 90. And that's get to a meeting in 90 days every day, and then of course, in addition to that, there's sponsorship. You find a sponsor, someone to kind of help you walk the walk. The steps, a lot of people don't really understand the steps. The 12 steps, it's a pathway to help you find out, a lot about yourself, and then rewire a few things, figure out what your character, quote unquote, character defects are, what's causing you to act this way, what's causing you to be this way, what's causing you to think this way, and then correct it, rewire it, and then, start kind of doing daily inventory as you continue to kind of like engage in those behaviors. You check yourself, kind of rework it, and then, of course, delivering the message, and then, of course, being of service. Like all of those primary things are important. So you can find yourself in a 12-step program. The other thing is that you can also decide that, if you can't make it to these meetings and you keep finding excuses and you keep turning around and it's not working for you, the next step I feel is definitely checking into an inpatient rehab facility. A lot of people kind of shame those, and I'm really surprised about that because, it saved my life, and so if the inpatient rehab facility, what they're going to do is they're basically going to kind of lock you up, so to speak, in a controlled environment, where they take you to meetings. So either you can do it on your own or you can have somebody kind of take you there. It's really simple. There's trust
comes into trust
for sure, and it's hard to trust people you don't know. That's the other problem I feel. When people look at this 12-step program or any type of help, is that nobody wants you. How am I going to trust you if I don't know you? Yep. What are you going to know about me that I don't want anyone in the world to know? And there's a lot. I've got some skeletons, girl. Some skeletons, but we all do. It's the thing. We all have skeletons in our closets. It's about, you've got to do it for yourself. Like, are you going to continue to living, this life, that really is going nowhere. Jails, institutions, or death, they say.
Really?
Oh yeah.
When it comes to addiction.
Yeah, jails, institutions, or death. And I 2 out of 3. No. So yeah, it was over for me. You know what I mean?
So when you suspect somebody, well, I think we've all known somebody who's struggled with type of addiction or, a lot of people say, not my child, not my daughter,
right,
not my sister. And then there becomes this enabling.
For sure.
Because we don't want to address the issue at hand.
Right.
And you mentioned, it's people think of addiction, they think of alcohol or drugs, but there's so many other things that you can become addicted to. Substance abuse is one thing that people can become addicts for, but I've met people in the past who have had a close relative who was an addict, and the elephant in the room was never addressed.
Right.
Holidays would come and go, and then there would come that time of day when everybody just knew they needed to leave.
Yeah.
Well, it's about that time. Things are going to start getting crazy, so we're going to start, leaving. But how do you, what do you say to those families that don't want to address the matter at hand? That there is somebody here in the family that is struggling? Because when you have an addict in your home, or when you have somebody struggling with this, it's not just that one person that is suffering.
Yeah.
The entire dynamic in the family is suffering.
I think a huge part of that is acceptance for those family members. Like, you have to accept the fact that this is your reality. This is what is happening, and then you have to seek help, whether it's through another friend, another closed mouth friend, whether it's somebody in the program, or it's professional help. You've got to get help. If you can't handle the situation alone, which I'm sure those people and the family members are feeling that way, then you need to seek other help. But you've got to accept the situation as it is.
Right.
Acceptance is huge. And I think for the addict, though, finding the solution outside of whether, if spirituality is not your thing, it's cool. Like, I get it. Not everybody is on that spiritual walk or that spiritual talk. I get it. You can think of it in terms of self-love. For me, the connection that I have, with my higher power is through self-love. That's the least path of resistance. I'm at that point where, I've got to figure that out. And is it worth losing that connection and going back out, or what do I need to do to find that, So it's all in how you think about it. It's all in how the family members think about it. It's all in how the addict is going to receive that, or the alcoholic, and it's how you communicate that.
Right. I've never had a close family member that I'm aware of in that situation. I've never had that. But I wouldn't even know what to say, to be honest with you, at this point. I mean, it could happen. We're not immune to any of it. But for me, I want to make sure that, we ask the right questions, that people get the right responses, because that's why we're bringing you in today. It's something that I have not faced personally. And so, and we're thinking about, again, the holidays, and we want people to just, and if somebody's not ready to heal, how much can anybody else really do anyway? Right.
And that's a very good point. You have to understand that you can enable. Like, you've got to stop enabling. Sometimes the hardest part of dealing with the situation is watching someone suffer. But I mean, to be honest with you, if from my own experience, had I not been in the depth of my addiction and hit rock bottom, as they say, I wouldn't have realized that, that I can't be there anymore. Like, you have to stop enabling. You have to allow them to make their own choices and have the consequences of those choices.
Right.
I was fortunate enough, again, to have Dolly, Dolly, my savior at many times. She helped me at times when maybe had she not helped me when she did, financially, or whatever, this would have happened a lot sooner. I felt that I could fall back on her at any time. I was manipulating that situation, and, we're good manipulators, very good manipulators. So I think, you just have to stop enabling, really, is the problem. And that's really hard to do. There are other 12-step programs for people dealing with alcoholics, and it's Al-Anon.
Okay.
Al-Anon is a meeting group that, if you feel that you have family members that are struggling, and you need help, you need a support group, you can find your way into one of those meetings. Those meetings are built, for families that are dealing with other alcoholics. And
are they anonymous?
They are. All of these programs are anonymous. Those are just places that you can go to. You can look up. They're all anonymous. Nobody is there watching, videotaping, taking pictures, getting phone numbers. All these places are completely anonymous.
And when we talk about enabling, that means something different to every person.
Sure.
Enabling could be, money. They're okay. So they've spent all their money on something for this habit. Now I need to give them more so that they can eat, because you want your kids to eat. You want your family to have a place to live, and you want them to have clothes. But there's so much more to enabling than just that. Sometimes I think even hiding the problem is enabling them. We did have a close family friend a number of years ago who struggled with alcohol and actually ended up passing away. And the family was so worried about what people thought that they just kind of kept it this dirty little secret.
Sure.
And I don't judge them for that. What happened is nobody's fault, but the addict took matters into their own hands. But now reflecting back, they say, I wish I wouldn't have done this or that.
Yeah.
So the enabling part, talk to us a little bit about what all does that encompass? What all does that mean?
So enabling, I feel like, of course, providing, allowing this the biggest one, that I'm thinking about right now too, is allowing these people to manipulate your feelings. Allowing, because I was good at that. I could make you give me not only the shirt off your back, but a room in your house, give me the keys to your car, everything, and you have to kind of stand up for yourself, and you have to know kind of what your own self-worth is, and it's a family member, that's tough, but you also have to really look at the situation. like you said, it is different for everyone. I mean, there's a million different ways that people can enable, and you just have to know and have the other person's best interest in mind. And sometimes, letting people reap the consequences of their actions is the only way to have somebody understand that, this isn't what they need to be doing. And, I manipulated all kinds of systems. Mm-hmm. I was more on the other end of the enabling, because I was being enabled over and over and over again. A sense of responsibility, I think, is also important. Accountability and responsibility. When you make people, when you force people or have them, take charge of their lives, mm-hmm. The biggest things, responsibility and accountability kind of come into play. And at that point, when I'm responsible and accountable for my own actions, I don't have to depend on you.
Right.
I don't have to depend on grandma. I don't have to depend on the next door neighbor mm-hmm. for whatever. I'm depending on myself, mm-hmm. And so.
And getting people to just take some ownership.
Ownership, yeah.
And stop.
That's a good word.
Just stop, making it so easy,
And stop the excuses. Mm-hmm. Stop the blaming, because we're all hurt, we're lonely, we're hurt, we're needing a connection. Mm-hmm. And what better way to find that? At the time through drugs, but also through other family members, mm-hmm. through being there for them,
right.
And that takes many forms,
Mm-hmm. Letting the right people in your circle.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about that in our next segment here. We're going to talk about addiction here. During the holidays, we have very special guest Juan Lino here talking about addiction and helping us discover, through what his experience is and how we can help others. Don't go away. We're going to take a very short break.
Are you in the process of starting your own business? Ever thought about it but just haven't started? Whether you are a seasoned professional or just kicking off your dream of becoming an independent business owner, you are invited to join us for this incredible journey. Discover and become a part of this diverse group of women who aim to support, inspire, uplift, and encourage like-minded women just like you within our Ladypreneur 100 community. We're going to remove for you the mystique of entrepreneurship, show you how to increase your leads, effectively market your business, and teach you how to build a powerful strategic alliance. You can find us on Facebook by going to the IB Network or by visiting us at our website, www.successradio.us. You can also find our show on TuneIn Radio by searching for the Ladypreneur 100 Show. That's Ladypreneur 100. Be sure to follow us there.
Listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is your source for inspirational, motivational, informative, and life-changing daily content. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
Welcome back to Ladypreneur 100. We're checking out our Facebook Live. We've got Danielle Silcox.
Hey, girl.
Hello. We got Kyle Petty's. And again, we've got some incredible comments here. Of course, we had the very beautiful, amazing Amber Turner who was watching us.
Hey, Amber.
And I know Dolly.
I know she's the number one fan.
We love you, Mama.
We love you, Mama.
So we're going to get into a little bit more about what families are to look for and how to help families. But let me let me break it up just a little bit, because I got to tell you, Juan Lino is one of the finest hair gurus in the world.
Yeah.
I was lucky to find him through a friend, Yvonne.
Yvonne. Oh, yes, Yvonne. Yes, we love her.
Yvonne Hinojosa, we love her too. She's an amazing massage therapist.
Yes.
But let's break it up for a minute, because I've got some sisters out there who are struggling with the fried dyed swoop to the side look.
Yes.
And they need some Juan Lino hair love.
Some help, girl.
Give them just a little bit of advice on how they can keep that silky smooth hair during the winter, the harsh, cold, snowy winter days.
Well, let me just tell you, first of all, the only way that can happen is that if you come see me at Tony and Guy,
that's right,
at the Briargate, at the Promenade Shops at Briargate here in Colorado Springs. I've got a wonderful family and a great group of people and talented group of people I work with over at Tony and Guy at Briargate. There's several different things you can do. Of course, a consultation probably would be the best.
Yes.
You can add me on Instagram at House of Lino, and that's HAUSE of Lino. You can find me on Insta there. You can ask your questions and, definitely schedule an appointment. I would love to see each and every one of you.
I know when I walk out of there, I feel like $1 million.
That's because you look like $1 million
but that's
all
because
the time.
I have got Juan Lino in my hair.
It's because you are $1 million. Yes.
That Olaplex.
Yes, Olaplex is the
Girls,
yes.
Get out there.
Olaplex.
Get your Olaplex. Get that fried stuff off your head.
What did you
Let
say?
them fried dyed swoop to the side.
Yes.
Because some sisters are struggling with that these days, right?
Yes.
So we have the cure, and it's called Juan Lino.
Yes.
So.
All right. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
So, getting back into our segment, when we're talking about a little bit about enabling and dependencies and how families are they try to help addicts, but addicts need to want help before they're gonna get better. But I have a lot of listeners who have families. I've got a lot of moms of teenagers and young kids, and we are seeing addiction at very young ages these days. Addiction does not discriminate.
No.
Doesn't care what color you are, background, male, female, poor, rich, it doesn't really matter. But with your experiences, and I know you've helped a lot of people, give those moms and dads some things to look for over maybe even the holidays, or not just the holidays. Sometimes it has to do with bullying, or sometimes it has to do with isolation or moving. Talk to us about that.
So I also manage a sober house here in Colorado Springs. It's a Eudaimonia Sober House. A shout out to Ryan Presley of Eudaimonia, Colorado Springs. That man is amazing. He's given me the privilege and the responsibility of kind of like managing a house full of men, with all kinds of symptoms and some of the things you look for. And I have to, on a daily basis, I'm watching these gentlemen, kind of change their lives, and I'm a part of that, So what to look for? Changes in behavior. That's the main one. Are they isolating? Are they overindulging? Are they emotional? Are they arguing, more than, again, it's mainly the changes in behavior, the general instability is a big one. Are they calling you every day and then all of a sudden they stop calling you? Did they just disappear? Have they fallen off of the face of the earth? Where are these people that you're looking for? It's a lot of it is paying it close attention. My intuition at this point is pretty on point, when it comes to noticing those changes in someone's behavior, how they're looking at you. You kind of just listen to what they're saying. If they think that they're in their bedroom, they come downstairs and like, hey, a ghost just opened my door. It's like, wait, what are you talking about? They're not making any sense. So those are things you can look for. Definitely, the changes in behavior is a big one. Are they lying? Are they stealing? When they're pretty normal on a daily basis.
When you say overindulging, what do you mean by that?
Are they, a lot of people get nervous. So, when they're trying to hide something. So, are they overeating? Are they smoking more than normal? Are they overindulging in isolating? Are they pacing? Are they, all of these things you're going to notice, and your intuition is right on. Like, you go, wait, that person's acting a little strange right now, or that kind of caught my eye. What your intuition's going to let you know something's off, and most people don't listen to that,
right?
But you have to.
So how did you know I have a serious problem here? What was the trigger that just, I'm doing a little too much?
Excuse me. When it became, everything was about finding that drug. My life was consumed. I couldn't hold a job. My life was consumed with, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was, and there were times where it was glamorous, and there were times where it was not. When it became my obsession, I was obsessed with feeling good and wanting to feel good all of the time. And I'm here to tell you, no one on this earth can feel good all of the time. But I sought it. It was my number one goal, was to feel good, and at any cost.
Yeah.
I was isolated from my family. I felt out of sight, out of mind. 90 miles away.
Yeah.
They can't see what I'm doing. So I went out and I looked for it. I made sure and the progression was, smoking to shooting it in my neck every day, several times a day. It got that intense, and I wasn't stopping for anything.
Is it a lonely place?
So lonely. Like the word loneliness has I can't describe. Loneliness says one thing, but it was way deeper. It was something that, it was emptiness, loneliness. It was so dark.
Now, when you were in that place, a lot of times people will hide to run away and be in that place so that they can have that. Or did you surround yourself with people who were doing the same thing?
A little bit of both. I was surrounding myself with people doing the same thing, which is why I have a first degree felony, that I'm dealing with, there, you have to, it's part of it. It's kind of one of those things where, you get caught up in it, and you don't want to be alone, but you have to isolate, and then you have to involve the people that are doing it with you. And the next thing you know, you're committing crimes every minute of the day, to do this. And I was stopping at absolutely nothing to feel good.
Yeah.
And none of it felt great.
Yeah.
So, all of those things, the isolation, changes in behavior is huge. Little Tommy and Julie, act one way.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're not there. They're not responding to phone calls. They're, not available, and it's always a good sign that something's going on that probably shouldn't.
I've had moms ask.
Yeah.
So, they'll say, I don't go through my kids' stuff ever.
Oh.
And they'll ask me, do you go through your kids' stuff? I don't rifle through my children's belongings to be nosy. If I go in and I put their laundry on their bed, I'll notice what's on the dresser. I don't dig through. I don't have a cause to right now. But if I did, I would absolutely. Who are you hanging out with?
Yeah.
Social media. They put everything on social media.
Look, listen, you got to be nosy. You got to be involved. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so these millennials are kind of doing stuff way beyond me. I'm not saying I don't know about it, but I'm just saying you've got to take control of your household. You've got to take control and be nosy. You've got to be involved in your children's lives. You have got to be there.
Yeah.
And if it means making someone a little uncomfortable and a little upset because you went through their underwear drawer, then so be it.
Yeah.
You have to know what's going on in your children's lives, in your family's lives.
Yeah.
The lack of interest in your family's lives is what causes people to divert and go somewhere else. If you're not available for me as a child, I'm going to go looking for someone to be available to me, and I will find what I'm looking for. And it's not always going to be the best thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to be involved. I think it's very important to be nosy. I mean, it's your house. Who's paying those bills?
That's what I
Well,
say.
okay, right? Who's paying these bills? Who's paying that mortgage? Not little Sammy. No, he's not. No.
My one daughter says, "Have you ever had a Mexican mom? They're the original gangster."
Yes. Oh, geez. Yes. I'm telling you, Dolly don't play. Dolly does not play. No.
I'm like, yes, and as long as you know that, I should be okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes kids, they're going to want to start experimenting with alcohol at that party. They're going to want to start smoking. And
listen, everybody's different. I'm not saying that, alcohol and, drugs are bad. Like, it works for some people. It just did not work for me. I mean, and it worked for a minute, for 20 years, but I was miserable. Like, not everybody's an alcoholic. Not everybody can not manage their drug consumption, I guess. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you do have a problem, and if you're anything like me and you go hard in the paint, as they say, then and you're looking for a solution, this is what it is. You have options. You can find that solution, because it's not everybody is that way.
Yeah.
There are people that drink socially and are totally fine. Bless their hearts. More power to them.
Does it come down to an addictive personality?
Yeah, there's a lot. That's definitely part of it. Again, that spiritual malady that we talked about, that is so huge. Like, do I love myself? Am I feeling empty inside? How do I feel that void and that emptiness? You find a solution for that problem, and you got to get to the root of the problem. And that's really what it all boils down to, is because if I'm feeling lonely and I feel fat, I'm going to go eat some cake. Like, that is a problem for some people, and they don't want to do that, but they do. And the same thing with drugs and alcohol. If I'm feeling lonely, I mask it with some type of substance, and that makes me feel better temporarily. And then whatever the consequences from that, that's what happens. You start wrecking your cars, you get into accidents, you get DUIs. Your life is all of a sudden unmanageable,
and it starts to just snowball out of control.
Out of control.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to come back with our last segment here with Juan Lino. Don't go away. Are you in the process of starting your own business? Ever thought about it but just haven't started? Whether you are a seasoned professional or just kicking off your dream of becoming an independent business owner, you are invited to join us for this incredible journey. Discover and become a part of this diverse group of women who aim to support, inspire, uplift, and encourage like-minded women just like you within our Ladypreneur 100 community. We're going to remove for you the mystique of entrepreneurship, show you how to increase your leads, effectively market your business, and teach you how to build a powerful strategic alliance. You can find us on Facebook by going to the IB Network or by visiting us at our website, www.successradio.us. You can also find our show on TuneIn Radio by searching for the Ladypreneur 100 Show. That's Ladypreneur 100. Be sure to follow us there.
Listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is committed to helping you achieve a positive daily approach to your success each and every day. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
for being with us here on Ladypreneur 100 for our final segment with Hair Master Juan Lino.
What up?
And I can call you Master because it is my show.
Okay. Word.
We're so excited to have you. You've really opened up a very difficult topic. It is not easy talking about addiction. Mm-hmm. People only want to talk about the fun stuff. They want their Facebook to look like it's this perfect little world, and Instagram's got all the filters now. I can even look 20 again. Everybody wants this perfect little simple life,
right?
But it is not simple, and there's a lot of stuff out there, and there are a lot of people suffering and struggling, and it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to our listeners that you are willing to even open this up. It is such a difficult topic, and
for sure.
Talking about kids and what to look for in family members, and even approaching a family member when you think that there might be something. But really the bottom line, at least for parents, is get involved with your children's lives. Right. Know who they're hanging out with. Know who they're talking to. Any change in behavior could really be critical, in helping that person. Sometimes it's a cry for help. Would you agree? Sometimes people, they're in a dark place. They don't know who to talk to. They don't feel they're being heard. They're being bullied at school.
And they don't know how to ask for help.
And that is the biggest thing. Yeah. I know it would be hard to ask for help. It just, based on personality. And you've taken such a difficult part of your life and really transformed it now to helping so many other people. I know you have a pretty great, a strict a yoga routine, a fitness routine, and that's one of the things that kind of helps keep you balanced.
For sure.
What are some of the other things that you've changed in your life to really stay focused?
In the beginning, it was very much, the 90 to 90, getting in a sober house, following the program, taking direction. The program, and I say the program, but again, AA, NA, CA, whatever you choose, a 12-step program. It was about taking direction. Obviously, me directing my own life didn't work. I was not able to be in charge of my own life, and I had to give that over, and whatever that means to you. So in the beginning, it was very, very strict because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to turn back. I had kind of in the back of my mind the idea that I had a little stash in my car right after I got out of rehab, and I thought, there is an opportunity for me to go back if I want to. That was my safety net. So in the beginning, I had to be very careful. I eventually threw it away. Decided that was not where I wanted to go. Again, manipulating the system. I was ready to jump back in it. But I decided, I was going to give myself an opportunity and a chance. Today, what it looks like, I make meetings when I can. I go to therapy every week, seeking professional help for any addict or alcoholic or anybody, all of you out there. Really is it's okay. I go to therapy every week, to figure out how to maneuver my life. I don't have all the answers. Recovery and sobriety hasn't made me the best or a perfect person. What it has, though, it's given me a chance. It's given me an opportunity to live my quote unquote best life. So I'm giving myself a chance. So I go to therapy every week. I do hot yoga, Hot on Yoga here in Colorado Springs. Amazing people. They've got hot yoga or hatha yoga or any type of yoga available in most communities. But for me, it's that intensity. I need to feel shaken. I need to feel, the intensity, mind, body, soul, everything combined all at one time. And I need that intensity in order to kind of ground me. But again, that self-love, it goes back to that. For me, giving back to myself by being available and being there in a practice, whatever it is. It could be dance, it could be playing your piano, whatever it is, but giving to yourself and giving yourself the time to be with yourself is huge, life-changing. And for me, that space on the mat is where it's at for me.
And you do have creative outlets.
Oh, yeah.
So yoga, I know you were a very serious dancer.
Yes. Years ago.
Yeah. And that's great. And getting back into yoga, you probably have a great center. And now doing hair, that's a wonderful creative outlet and really helping people figure out.
And for me, in the program, they also teach us that, helping another alcoholic or addict or anyone, if I'm feeling a little bit squirrely and, I'm like, I think I might want to drink tonight, or whatever that conversation is that you have with yourself before you like commit the worst or make the worst decision ever. It varies, but, is go help someone else, go be of service. So, a lot of my clients don't realize this, but, they're sitting down, I'm not feeling, or I'm feeling some type of way. And instead of like sitting through the haircut or the service without having a conversation, I know for me, the best way to get out of that position is to engage and talk with somebody and have them, ask them about them and get my mind off of where I'm at. If I'm feeling tired, if I'm feeling irritable, if I'm feeling, we're not perfect. I have a million different emotions, a million and one, and and they come out, when I least expect it. So engaging with other people and asking them about them and getting out of myself really is what that's doing. Is getting out of myself really helps alleviate that squirreliness, if you will. Having somebody, I think that no matter what time of night it is, 3:00 in the morning, you can call them. Right? Having that go-to person. Right. You should always have that person in any circumstance. And there's people that are willing to help, everywhere, willing to help be that person, that person that can get a hold of you, or you can get a hold of them, or hold you accountable, really. Yeah. Are there programs that are different for younger people, or, if the young kids that are, the preteens that are already starting to have some addiction problems, right? And then adults, and then, of course, family, because family needs to have their own therapy, as you mentioned as well. Yeah, so there's a ton of support groups. Did you want to? Let's talk about them. Sure. So the minors, I'm not really sure that you can find programs available for minors, but right now we're kind of focusing more on adults, right? So there's a detox. There's several detoxes here in the area in Colorado Springs, and then you can always Google search, in your area. There's Peak View Detox, Recovery Village, and Sandstone Care available for detox services, and that's like coming off of heroin, benzos, alcohol. Before you get into any other like sober home or other facilities or institutions, you do have to be sober. So this is a good place, a good places to find that. There's inpatient where that you actually go. They lock, and I say lock you up, but loosely. They kind of like keep you there. They stabilize you. They feed you. They give you a place to live. They take you to meetings. They've got inpatient services, our Recovery Village, Parker Valley Hope here in Colorado Springs. When you're done with that, typically the next step is to find yourself a sober home. Ryan Presley with Eudaimonia, and you spell it EUDAIMONIA, and you can look at their website, eudaimoniahomes.com. They have houses in Austin, Houston, Colorado Springs. We provide everything for you. Beds, utensils. We provide internet, cable. You've got laundry services that we provide. Everything. You just bring yourself, your clothes, and your toothbrush, and then the main goal is to stay sober. Ryan Presley, love this man to death. He has, been the other person in my life since I've been here in Colorado Springs that has really helped and given me and trusted me. That's huge. Yeah. Trusted me with these wonderful gentlemen that come through this door. But anyway, so the sober living is an option. We've got 2 men's houses and 1 female house. The houses are in great condition, wonderful living environments. So check that out. So eudaimoniahomes.com. So the next step after you do your detox and your inpatient would be outpatient or IOP. Peak View provides that. Peak View, the interesting thing about them is that they actually do take Medicaid. Okay. So if inpatient isn't your thing and you want to do outpatient, like just kind of go. So they lock you up in inpatient. Again, I say lock you up, but they secure you there. Outpatient, it's kind of like, I'm going to go for a day program. So I'm going to go 3 days a week, just like 4 hours a day. And Peak View takes Medicaid, but they provide that for you. So then you just kind of learn, get the tools that you need to stay sober, whatever that means for you and however you want to receive that. That's going to be for you if you don't want to have to stay overnight somewhere. So that's there. So all of these programs have payment plans and assistance, and some of them do accept private insurance. So that's good news. So Parker Valley Hope accepts TRICARE, which is very important because
especially here.
Yeah, especially here. We've got 4 or 5 installations? 5 installations, military installations. So that's also very important. There's a lot going on there, and untouched information there. So Parker Valley Hope takes TRICARE. Another one agency in town that we've worked with and we have a lot of people kind of tapping into that I think is very important to talk about it's called the Southern Colorado Health Network. Okay. It used to go by SCAP, but they also provide services for people living with HIV. Okay. There's a lot of they provide medical, housing assistance, all this stuff. Very important agency in town. Completely, your information isn't shared with anybody, but people need to know about that too. Okay. So that's SCAP or Southern Colorado Health Network, and they provide HIV resources for people living with HIV and other kind of like sexually transmitted diseases, I guess, or illnesses. So check that out. A really interesting website that I use a lot that provides resources for people is auntbertha.com, and that's AUNTBERTHA.com. With this website, you can literally plug in your zip code, and every program in that area will pop up for housing, medical. If you need money, they give away free money. If you need clothing, if you need whatever you can think of, like every program that is available to people in your community, it's auntbertha.com, and you just plug in your zip code. Or your is it zip code? Yeah, right. Zip code. Yeah, yeah. So 80918, 80903, whatever. 78704 in Austin, Texas. So anyway, you just plug it in, and every program I was amazed. Like, it's unbelievable. So there's that. And then of course you always, the 12-step programs, you can always Google, AA meetings in 802, 9018, whatever your zip code is. And so through 12 steps and sponsorship too, here in whatever community you're at, you can definitely find the solution to whatever your problem is.
And it's all different types of addictions, right?
Oh my God.
Everything from eating disorders to people who can't stop having sex every day. That's a thing. Yeah. That's a thing. Yeah. So you have, SLA, HA, CA, and they all, what's interesting about all of these groups is they all have a different type of people that attend them. So, what I like to do, is I like to jump around, like the message is the same, whether I'm in a Heroin Anonymous meeting or, a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, they're both drugs, but it's just there's a different vibe, so you gotta find your tribe, you gotta find your vibe, you gotta find where you feel comfortable. I like to switch it up, only because, the messages are abundant and they're everywhere. The solutions you can find in different ways, if you're listening, and if you're available and if you're present and if you're there, you can find it. So you want that message. Oh yeah. Is there a way for people to donate to your home specifically, or to get help to the people that you that live in your home? That's
a very good question. I would, if you want to donate to Eudaimonia, you definitely can. I would definitely contact Ryan Presley at Eudaimonia Homes here in Colorado Springs, or you can get a hold of me and I'll put you in touch with him. But that man is amazing. He has changed already so many lives and touching more and of course is going to hopefully save 1 million more in the years to come.
I love it. So let people know how they can get a hold of you again personally, whether if it's through hair, whether social media, let them know how they can find you.
Sure. I am on Instagram again at House of Lino, HAUSE of Lino. You can find me on Facebook, Juan Lino. You can find me at Tony and Guy at the Promenade Shops at Briargate. You can also locate me at a Eudaimonia Sober Home here in Colorado Springs. You can email juan.lino@me.com. juan.lino@me.com. Shoot me a message, hit me up. And if you want to schedule an appointment, contact the salon. I definitely would love to see you.
We love it. Thank you so much for being here.
For sure.
I am going to put down all of these resources onto our Ladypreneur 100 page.
That would be awesome.
Make sure that people can get to those resources if needed. We thank you so much. I love you
I absolutely love you
this
too.
This has been one of the greatest shows ever.
Yeah.
Thank you to our listeners and for those who are watching live. And we've got a great show coming up for 2 weeks from today.
USA, part of the Internet Broadcasting Network. You can find and follow your favorite shows on TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify Podcast, iTunes, Internet Radio,